name is Genosis, and welcome to Not a Gamer Gaming. This is episode 3 of our Prefab Editor tutorial series, and today we're going to discuss some extras regarding your build, creating imposters, thumbnails, some metadata, saving and reloading prefabs. So, before we begin, I'd like to remind you to go ahead to click like and subscribe if you have not already. Click that notification bell so we know when to shovel more videos onto your face. Now let's begin. Alright, let's start with this little fun area I created. Super simple, didn't take much to do. And we're going to save our game. You hit escape, click save. If you've never saved your prefab before, it's going to prompt you to save something. Let's go just underscore test prefab, something I can find easier. And save. Take a second. And this is going to save this in your 7 Days to Die folder under data and the prefabs directory. Now, before we go diving into that, something to keep in mind that when you do your builds, that if you want to have it show up in a random world, that random world generator is going to need to know information about your build in order where to place it. Are you going to have any quests? Anything that's hidden information about your build. Speaking of quests, let's go ahead and toss one of these quest indicators just for fun. Right about here. Why not? Alright. Now that we've done that, we can go through some of these other extra features, like, first of all, creating an imposter. There we go. Update imposter. Save your changes. It's going to reload everything. There. Now what that did, like I discussed in the first episode, it basically took a three-dimensional snapshot of this, like a mesh. Like, imagine instead of all of these dozens of blocks that have been placed, it basically makes this one cohesive shape that it doesn't have to render in a complicated way with blocks and IDs and information. It's just like a three-dimensional picture that you can see from far, far away. Now, so you're the designer, it's just not going to disappear like it does in any other game. But if it did, then you'd still be able to see it because that mesh would appear in the distance. So that's done. It creates a mesh file that you'll find in your prefab directory and make sure that makes it into your random generated world. Now, something else you want to do is a thumbnail. So if you want to know what build you're dealing with when you go through the prefab editor, let's take a little picture of our barbecue and we'll update prefab thumbnail. There. So we go through here and we go under, I think it was test. There you go, test prefab. There's a little thumbnail we took. It's just going to be a little tiny JPEG that sits in your prefab menu, just for convenience sake, just to be there. Alright, now there's some extra data behind the scenes that you'll want to edit. I think it's under, level tools 2, under prefab properties. You'll want to categorize this. Let's say this is something that's out in the wild. Something you might all find in rural areas, or, stuff like that. You can type it that way and hit save. So it's going to save that in an XML file, and that is going to allow you to edit and enable it for quests, if it needs to be rotated, that type of thing. Now, regarding rotation, let's say if you want your build entry to be on this side facing the south, you'll want to rotate it twice. 1, 2 to face the south. Now what that means is that when the when the random generated world places your build into a random generated map, it needs to know how many times to rotate it to face it north, so it has a common direction in order to place it facing roads or pathways. So again, if you want it to face north, you're starting south, going clockwise. You'll go 1, 2 rotations. Simple as that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the text editor and I'm going to show what this information looks like in XML. Alright, this is our XML. Now, very simple stuff. You get stuff like trader area, difficulty tier. This is very simple. Maybe have difficulty tier 1. And I copied some other XML files here just to get a good idea what some of the more complicated ones look like. And let's copy them. So quest tags. This will register your build with the traders, so you're allowed to actually have quests. Now, let's say you didn't have any hidden cache. Let's say you just want to clear it and kill zombies. Yeah, just remove those. Difficulty here, we have that. We have allowed townships. Copy that. City or towns. I don't think there's any other ones we can use for that. I think rural. We don't want this to be in a city and town. We just want this to be in a rural or wilderness areas. You can open up other XML files under the prefab areas to see what other options you have. Let's see. Rotation to face north. Actually, this is exactly what we need right here. We're facing south. 2 rotations will face us north. And here I pulled out a cabin just to have something more relative to what we're building. Let's go ahead and copy this. Allow townships, rural and wilderness. I think I did that already. I did. Just make sure I spelled it correctly. Perfect. All right. I believe the other one would be editor groups. Have it in the wilderness group. Just for sorting purposes, for finding it easier. Done. Zoning, residential old. Yeah, why not? This is something that if you want to go through the prefab mixer XML file in your data folder, you can see how all of your common POIs are placed and try to get a feel for what tags are used for your specific build. We're just copying something off of something that we know to be similar to what we want. I believe that's it. Let's go back to our designer. And that's it. Now you hit save. It's going to save all of those files. So if you look into your prefab directory, under your Steam installation folder, 7 Days to Die, data/prefabs, you're going to have several files. You're going to have a JPEG file for your thumbnail. You're going to have a mesh file for your imposter. And you're going to have an XML file that I just showed you, showing all of the information that you need to classify your build, have it show up in random generated worlds in the right places, and to have your trader quests work. This is actually something even I haven't been doing this that long. This is something I recently learned working with other developers, and I'm still getting used to it. There may be some things that maybe you can even correct me on, you can put down in the comments, but those are the basics. This will get your prefab in the right place and registered with quests. That's all I'm going to do for today, something really short. I just want to keep all of these concepts segmented in pieces so it's easier to absorb and easier to practice. I want to thank you again for watching, and again to remind you to like and subscribe our videos. It really does help us a lot, and to click that notification bell to know when the next video will come out. Thank you very much for watching.